And we're back with another episode of the Pals Podcast. I am your co-host, Danny Galerno.
And I am Ricky Liordi. Danny, good to have you back.
It's great to be back. It's been a while.
I know. I did the last intro solo. I was sad.
I watched it. You did good.
I mean, I did okay.
I thought you were going to say, and I am your co-host, Danny Galerno.
No, I didn't want to make fun. I didn't want to make fun of you this time. New year, new me. Go
great.
easy. I'll go easy on you.
I'm less dramatic this new year, so...
Yeah, but welcome back. Danny, who do we have on this week?
We had Ben Flood on, and he's a DJ, actually from California.
Yep.
Figured that out pretty quickly in the episode. I thought he was going to be like a long-lost relative of mine. But DJ now living in Toronto, and he's absolutely killing it.
Yeah, he's been playing a lot of shows locally and then also in other countries, which is super cool. He came recommended to us from a previous guest on the podcast too. So yeah, anytime you have people that say, hey, this person would be a great combo, we're like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And again, banging combo. We still have the hat there too. Anytime someone brings us merch too, we're just like all about it. So yeah, Ben was great. He's been playing a lot of shows recently in the city too. Like I've been checking online, and I feel like every week he's announcing a new show somewhere, which is super cool, whether it's support show or headlining show.
Yeah, and we recorded this pre-holidays, so there are some things that we did discuss that may have already happened, but there's a lot of things that we did discuss that are going to happen in February, so just keep your eye out for him. You can follow him on Instagram to kind of find out where he's playing and what he's doing, because he is doing a lot. Yeah,
and it's always cool to see people like, I'm not saying he's at the start of his career, but when you're starting to really get that momentum, it's like snowball and that ball starting to roll down the hill.
Did you see he just opened for Paco Versailles?
Yeah, literally, that's what I was just saying.
Underground last week.
So a lot of really cool shit happening for him. So Ben, we appreciate you. Thank you for being one of the pals. And Danielle, what do we say?
Let's fucking go.
Not saying Danny's a hooker, but I'm not saying she's not.
Yeah.
I just think there's way worse boots that I own that look more like hooker boots than these.
I've never seen you wear worse boots than these for hookers. Like on the hooker scale, these are definitely the highest.
Okay. Anyways.
Danny's gonna cut this. My mom's listening.
No, I don't care. She
Lisa,
bought
these
them
are
for
hooker
me.
boots.
They are not. I need to ask you, is Flood your last name, like your real last name?
Yeah, it's actually my last name.
That's my mom's maiden name, and I've never met another Flood before.
Really? Your mom's
What if you
Irish?
guys are related?
It's an Irish name, I guess.
Yeah, my grandfather, he's Irish-Scottish.
I mean, I'm not like, I don't
Where are you
associate.
from?
Like kind of mixed, like half English.
No, like in like Toronto, like
Oh,
Ontario.
I grew up in California.
California, so you're not
Yeah,
from
yeah,
here.
Yeah. So
I was like praying, like this was my whole thing, is that you were going to tell me you were from this small little town where my grandfather's family's from, and we were somehow going to be related. And I was so excited to like, I've never met a cousin. What? You never know?
Wild.
It's not like we're close to my grandfather's family, but that would have been wild. I've never met a Flood before.
Yeah, we end up being like cousins or something. Like, oh yeah, see you at Thanksgiving this year, I guess.
Yeah.
American.
Really random. You guys know that tradition of the random like grandmother that texted a random phone number in the States? It's like, hey, like Christmas, Thanksgiving dinner's at mine. And the guy's like, who is this? Like your grandmother. And he's like, send a pic, and she sends it. And it's like a white grandmother with a random black dude. And he's been going over for 9 years straight now.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah,
so
it's ridiculous.
But Ben, tell us a story. You're from California. I had no idea. I thought you were
American.
from here.
Yeah.
So happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't really. I celebrated it here, not there, but.
What
my
brought you
family
here
did.
in the first place?
I moved here like 5 years ago. I was I grew up like in Oakland, California, so just outside San Francisco. And then, I don't know, I kind of wanted to like get it, just change up things and do something a little bit different with my life. Like, so I was working for a long time and was kind of getting burnt out working like construction job. So both
my peoples.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I did project management for a long time, got super burnt out of that. And so I like took a bunch of time, traveled, and then I was like, I need to like do something different. Like I'm almost 29 at that point. So I was like, I need to go like have a fucking adventure. So then I was like, I'm going to move to a different country. And I was like, either Canada, Australia, or UK, because me español no es bueno. So, so then I kind of started like diving in. Canada seemed to be the easiest option, the closest too. So,
wait, where'd you travel when you were gone? Like when you Are you just like gallivanting through the world or?
Kinda. I took like 9 months off. So I started off in Bali.
Fuck yeah.
And like found myself in Bali. Oh my God. Full eat, pray, love, right?
The way you looked at her.
I know. Right? Yeah. So started off there and then came back like after a month there, like came back, quit my job. I was just like, I'm out. I'm done. And then I kind of spent part of the time flipping a house.
Did you know you were going to quit when you went to Bali, or did you figure it out in Bali?
Like things were coming to a close. I spent 3 years building a Nobu hotel. And that was,
Well, we just casually dropped it. I spent like 3 months building Nobu.
Yeah, whatever. The sushi's D's, I guess. No, so did that and then moved to Washington kind of part-time. Me and my brother were flipping a house. So we like bought a house together, renovated it, lived there.
The state of Washington?
Yeah, it's on an island in Washington actually, called Anderson Island. And then the house is right next to a lake called Lake Josephine, which is what my dog's named after. So
sorry,
unrelated to the travel story.
Where'd you get to Washington though?
How? Like, my brother lives there.
Oh, your brother. Okay.
Yeah. My brother lives there. So he lives real close by. And he had a house on that island too. So then we just like bought that house, renovated it. And then it was like half the time there, half the time traveling. So I went to Bali, Peru, Colombia, came here during that time. Like, hey, let me spend a month in Canada, really check it out, get a feel for it, and figure out where I want to move.
It's so funny because we just off air spoke about how we didn't talk about travel, and like we used to talk about travel so much, and now it's like right off the bat we're getting into travel. Okay, so you spent all this time traveling, and you had no plan while you were traveling. You're flipping this house, so you have a little bit of income, or some income's coming in, but other than that, you're like, fuck, I'm just gonna figure it out.
Yeah, pretty much. In the US, they have really cool, we were just talking about it today, they have 0 interest credit cards that you can take out for like 18 months. So every time I've gone on a big trip, you just pull out one of those bad boys, like go on your trip, don't pay any, interest
fees,
or anything.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Months.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sure I can get a job in 18 months.
And pay this off.
Yeah, exactly. So just did that. I mean, I had cash saved up too, but I was like, why pay when I don't have to?
So what year? This is what, 2019, give or take?
This was exactly 2019.
Okay, so then COVID hit.
Yeah, COVID hit like 2 months after I got here.
Okay, so
you came to Toronto, then COVID hit.
I came to Toronto in January 2020, and then COVID hit in like
2
March.
months later. And did you have a plan when you got here?
Yeah, I actually got like a working holiday visa, which most people don't realize they actually have some between the US and Canada. There's just not many. It's not the same thing as like Australia or anything like that. But they do exist. So I got one of those, and then it's actually pretty easy to find like construction jobs here, as you know. So, so I came here, like found a recruiter, and I had a job like pretty much right away.
Fuck, what is like?
I just like can't believe. I just feel like recently we've also been talking a lot about how people want to leave Toronto and be away from the city, but you chose here.
But you also chose
that's kind of nice.
He came when it still had its life. The city still had its life.
Yeah, but that's
well, for 2 months. I mean, it had its life.
How have you seen a change in Toronto since when you got here to now?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I think the reason I moved here initially was kind of for like the cultural community sort of. There is much more of like a kind of civic mindset here about it and about the people. Like the kind of, Canadian people are super nice adage, like compared to people from San Francisco or LA, Canadian people still are really fucking nice. So that's still kind of one thing that I see. It's like I still meet people just walking down the street or in the elevator and everyone's super polite. But the thing that really sold me was actually like, this is my favorite story. Right before I moved here, I was visiting, and then I think I was going to like a job interview just to kind of line things up. And it was, I don't know, probably like November, December. So I get on the TTC, and then everyone's bundled up. It's snowing outside. This nanny comes in with their 2 kids, and then these kids are out sledding. And then the nanny's like, all right, like go sit on these chairs over there. And the kids are like, they're like 6 years old. They're like, wait, but our butt's wet. Like if we sit on the chairs are going to get wet, and then someone else is going to sit on it and their butt's going to get wet. And I was just like, I like it here.
What a fucking random story to say I like it here, but yeah, that's the one that stood out. Wait, when did you get into music then?
So I grew up playing like drums, and I was in a band, like in school band, but playing drums, so it was actually kind of cool. So I did that, and then university.
I love how drums are like the universal sign that you're cool.
I mean, for being in band, yeah. but like, I don't know, you're not the quarterback. You just play the fucking drum.
Well, especially in the States, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, university, you can't really bring a drum set into like your dorm room, right? So, moved to university, and I had just kind of gotten into like house music, dance music, all that kind of stuff. And I had a buddy who I actually worked with at a bike shop in high school who was into producing and like DJing and all this stuff. So he's like, "Oh, you play drums? Come over to my studio one day." And then he was like, "All right, like make a drum loop on this drum machine and like play a bass line on this thing." And then I was just like hooked. So go to university, join a frat, and then it's just
what frat?
Delta Chi?
No, I was in, what frat was I in? Oh my God, I'm going blank for a second here. Lambda Chi Alpha.
Oh, I heard that one was like different than all the others.
Maybe. I know, I'm kidding.
No, in a good way.
So I went at Western, like frats in Canada aren't the same as frats in the States. Like frats
But
in the
Western
States,
would probably have the most similar, but still not even
but
close.
you're comparing MLS to like English Premier League.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. You still got a couple good players, but you can't compare the league overall.
No.
What school did you go to in the States?
Oregon State.
Okay.
Beavers, yeah.
Okay.
We had this joke.
Beaver, see, so Canadian of you.
I know, right?
Fuck,
It's like it's been in the works for such a long time.
Okay, so you went out there, you started playing. You met this roommate who got you into it.
Yeah. Then I started like DJing
Frats.
and doing all that, producing. And then like fourth year university, I DJ'd at like the club that everyone went to. I think it was like every Friday or something. I think it was like $50 and all you can drink. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
It's so funny because I used to do nightclubs and promo. And when I was a kid, it was like $50 and I had 20 drink tickets.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not inviting anyone. These are mine.
Man, this is sick. Like, I'm so cool. $50 and 20 drink tickets.
Yeah.
You get to the bar, you slap those drink tickets on, you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, for sure. After university, kind of like stepped back a little bit. It was like, okay, real job time. So I was just more making music at that point. And I didn't really DJ a whole lot again until pretty much when I moved here. I mean, there was a couple things here and there, but I was mostly kind of just hanging out and making music. And then, yeah, kind of this last year, you know, it was kind of, I met the right people, just a couple friends who were like, oh, you know, you produce and you're into this and we're friends. So like come DJ with me. And it kind of really took off super quickly. And so I went from like playing, I don't know, once every quarter last year to like pretty much this whole year, it's been 3 gigs a week. So
it's just so unreal too, especially when you get to do something you love that consistently. Like,
yeah,
it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so random that you went from construction.
He's still in construction.
But it's like your construction in the States to flipping a house in Washington to settling here. And it's just like, I don't want to say it's a random arc, but you know, like everyone's in there, like winter, everyone talks about winter arc. And I hear the word arc so much now, but it's such a like California, Washington, travels in between. You land in Toronto at the worst possible time ever. And you still love it here.
Yeah.
I find it's very rare.
Yeah.
Because most, like, especially a lot of Canadians now are trying to get into the States now. They're trying to go the opposite direction.
I think I'm like happy about it because I have the option still.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a grass is greener thing. And I'm like, well, I could go either way.
But
like
wait,
whenever I want.
I'm just thinking this now. Even your career, most people like fuck around with like arts and creative stuff when they're younger and then settle into that like big boy job or like that safety job. Like construction is a safe job.
Yeah.
Later on, where you're like, you started in construction, the older you get, you're starting to, I don't want to say like fuck around and find out, but you are. It's so like, I feel like you're doing the opposite of everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, so me and my buddy started like this clothing company, and we actually kind of had this idea that like our big boy career jobs were going to fund all of our like cool hobby projects to the point of, okay, hopefully we can one day get out of it. Like,
You
don't
sound
get me
just
wrong.
like Ricky.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
My big boy job gives me the opportunity to fuck around and
To do awesome things like Pal Podcast, for sure.
100%. And now I've been said, now my side gig, the social media business, it allows me to do the most ridiculous shit and I don't have to think. Like, I love making merch. I don't know why. Like, making Pals merch and random shit. Again, we don't really sell it anymore. I just give it away to people because I enjoy making merch.
Yeah.
Like the hats, the sweaters I get you one after.
Yep.
It allows me to do stuff. I randomly host events. Like even the book, I've lost money with this book. Just between like organizing events, like giving away free copies. I've lost money on the book.
Heartbreak round 2.
Yeah, heartbreak round 2. Need to do a second one to make some money back. But yeah, it gives me the opportunity to do cool shit. And it's like my big boy job allowed me to do these other side projects and these like side quests. But yeah, I fucking love that you're literally swimming against the current here.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like I don't like totally need to get or want to get out of the day job anytime soon. So I kind of switched and I work for a construction tech company, Procore. I don't know if you.
Procore, of course.
Yeah, I work for them now. So that was kind of a nice transition out of like hardcore construction, and it was a bit.
You're out of the 7 to 5 into the 9 to 4.
Yeah. It's way more breathing room, and it's nice and that kind of thing. So that definitely.
And it's like an industry leader too, which is nice.
Yeah. Definitely freed up a lot of breathing room to like spend more time doing the creative thing. And like, we're pretty much almost fully remote. So it's like, I got 5 minutes between calls. I can go, work on some socials or find some new songs or whatever I got to do to kind of line things up for the creative side of things and the DJ and music projects.
I have such a random question, but I'm just so what are your like hobbies?
I was gonna ask that.
Were you actually?
Because like you were even saying before, like off air, like you just do a lot of things, and you're even saying this now. Like you talked clothing line, the music,
that's
construction. Like, what is something you do for fun outside of all your projects?
Like walk my dog. I know that sounds lame, but I actually really like walking my dog.
Mike was the same way. We had a guy that said the same way. Like, what do you do for fun? He's like, I love to walk my dog. Like, even in this weather, he's like, yeah, man, I just want to walk my dog all day long. Like,
I kind of turn most of my hobbies into like
a business.
Businesses, or at least things that I won't lose money on one day.
Literally, the more you talk about, I'm like, I'm aligned with this guy right now. Like,
yeah,
I'm the fucking same way. And even so, again, this beer, every year I want to invest in a new business, or I want to find something that I could either get involved with, or be a part of, or do something. So like a couple of years ago, I started the social media thing. 2 years ago, I bought my pickleball team. This year, I invested in this beer company. Next year, I'm gonna find hopefully it's a pickleball facility. If it's not, maybe a little gym. I want to do something that I could that in 10 years, I want to be like, not retired, but semi-retired, where I can just go on a couple calls a week where hey, how's the beer doing today? How's the pickleball team doing? How's this? And I just do random fun side quests.
Yeah. It's just kind of guidance and like,
and I'm just like chilling.
Yeah. Passive income.
Yeah. For me, it's not about the money. So as long as
I don't want to work either.
As long as I don't lose money. Like, as long as I don't lose money, I'm happy. Like the book, I know I'm going to break even on it eventually. Like, I sell a few more, maybe a couple thousand more copies and I'll break even.
Yeah.
But as long as I don't lose money, I'm happy.
What's that book called?
Heartbreak Love, Guided Poetry Journal. I almost forgot for a second there. I'm actually hosting an event January 16th at the Well. Guided journaling experience. Name's still in the works, but yes, if you're watching this, January 16th.
That's so weird. Usually they ask guests to plug things on podcasts.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I'm plugging my own shit here.
That's
what this whole podcast
all over the place right now.
No, but let's get back to it. Okay, so now you're here, you're making music, you're playing, 3 nights a week. We know your hobbies are walking the dog.
Other hobby, I like biking, like cycling, road bike, mountain bike. I do that kind of more in the summers and like, gym, yoga, kind of usual. But that's really just to get my mind and body in the optimal state to be able to do all these other cool things. And it's kind of fun, but
I'm fucking aligned.
Yeah.
I'm so aligned. Again, I do this. I'm not about me. This is about you.
I thought you were about to spin it back.
It can be about.
I was good for a second. I was like,
what else, Ricky?
I was gonna be like, I got this kind of bike. What kind of bike do you have? But I'm like, okay.
What kind of bike do you have?
I have a Cervelo P3.
Okay, that's nice.
It's a road bike. Yeah.
It's
fucking sick.
Yeah.
Really good bike. You should get one if you can. It's unbelievable.
Are you gonna ask him what kind of bike he has?
What kind of bike you have?
Like, bring it back to him at least.
Well, because usually they would say like, oh, yeah, this is the bike I would have, but he probably doesn't have a Cervelo.
I don't have a Cervelo. Yeah, my bike's not quite as nice. It's still pretty nice. I got an Ibis Hakalugi, but it's like a cross bike that I kind of converted into more of a road bike. Okay. But it's still kind of little like chunky tire.
I was gonna say that sounds more like a road mountain bike.
It's like I'll show you a picture. Okay. It's good, but it's mostly road bike. But it's nice because I have like I don't know slightly fatter tires, so you can kind of bomb on it and like it's a good time.
Road bikes are shit for anything but on the road. That's it. Like good asphalt.
I mean, this never really goes off the asphalt. Maybe like, a little bit of, hey, here's a very smooth, flat dirt path that I have.
Danielle's like, fuck this. I don't want to talk about. Okay, let's get back to music.
Danielle, what kind of bike do you have?
I do not bike.
City bike?
Danielle doesn't even know how to ride a city bike, probably.
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes, I know how to ride a bike.
For sure?
100%.
Just checking.
Moving on.
Okay, what are some of the coolest shows you played this year?
Let's see. One of my favorites actually was this past Saturday. So we threw this event at good company, but we kind of did a full takeover and made it a totally different space. And then there's this Toronto DJ producer called Kinjo. He used to be Grand Theft, but he's
okay. Yeah. Grand Theft. Why did he switch?
Kind of just rebrand. Yeah.
Big
Same
brand,
guy. Yeah, he kind of went through, I think he took a little bit of time off, and then he kind of went through a rebrand, and he's got this really cool kind of groovy, disco-y house vibe now, but he's got this new project going on, and so I met him opening up for him previously, and then kind of just stayed in touch, and then we threw this event, had him come play it, and then it was probably only like 100-person event, but we totally took over the space, did like the lighting, and put all these fake plants in there, and like that was one of my favorites just because it was kind of intimate, but everyone had a really good time. That was one of my favorites. I'm trying to think, like earlier in the summer opened up for Tony Romera, and then this Saturday coming up at Coda, I'm opening for Ferric Dawn, who's a big Defected Records artist that was at Coda. So there's my plug.
You guys are playing together this week?
Yep. Yeah. And then we're playing together on Thursday at Escobar. So that'll be a late night one, 11 to
Escobar
4.
is always fun because it's one of those venues where it's like, it's big enough that you can get a good amount of people in there, but it's still small enough that it feels like somebody's basement bar. You know what I mean? Like, you feel like you're in a basement in LA or something.
Yeah. You're a little bit like, where am I? Like it's familiar, but it's also kind of just sketchy enough.
What's like a dream venue you'd love to play at?
Man, I've always wanted. I mean, Ibiza's like the obvious answer, but I would say beyond that, there's actually this. There's this club in where is it? Ecuador. It's called Lost Boys.
Wow, nobody's ever once said Ecuador.
I know, right? And
that's wild.
And I've never actually been, but it like oddly gets rated as like one of the top 5 clubs in the world or something, even though it's totally like it's like a palapa kind of like big giant hut with all this graffiti stuff inside, but then they have crazy names playing there and it just looks like an awesome time. So I've always wanted to kind of like do that just to do something a little bit different.
Have you been to Ecuador?
No. There was a plan to go and then go to the club and then meet, do that whole thing, and it never happened. So this could totally change once I go because Ecuador, right? But
when people come to your shows, what do you want them to feel, or what do you want them to take away, or what can they expect?
I just want people to be happy, man. I want people to dance. I want people to have like, a positive experience. Like I don't want it to be, like crunchy, heavy stuff. Like I'll still play bangers for sure. Says every DJ ever. But
imagine me, what kind of music? Random shit. No bangers.
Yeah. I mean,
some DJs, I feel like they do. Yeah, I feel like some DJs do play anti-bangers.
Yeah.
Quote at like 5 a.m. or something, what was the after hours bar called?
Comfort Zone.
Comfort Zone. Back in the day, like 5 a.m. There's no vocals. It is just.
Is that still open?
Yeah, it is. It's on.
It's the second one now. It's not the original.
It's the second one. It's in Parkdale on Queen now.
Because the original one was on Spadina and College area.
Yeah, I think I played there for like it was like a bunch of different people at a slot. I played there once like 3 years ago, but it wasn't a proper event.
Comfort Zone.
Yeah.
Just one was random.
I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. No. I'd be happy to play there. Comfort Zone.
Would you
ownership.
rather? So you said that the event you threw this weekend or this past weekend. For those listening, we're talking. This is late November. This party that you just threw at Good Company.
Yep.
So. You threw the event. Would you rather be the DJ at your own event that you're throwing that you're in control of, but it's a smaller event, or headlining a little bit of a bigger show that somebody else is like programming?
Good question.
I would generally prefer not to be involved in throwing the event.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I like doing it here and there to like do something different and kind of, it's part of building a community. So I guess going back to your point of what do you want people to experience? Like, I want there to be some sense of growing community, both around kind of the vibe of the music, having it be at least good vibes. That doesn't mean, you know, super cheese, but like, hey, let's all get excited. Let's, you know, have the energy and the mood increase as a result of this, which usually happens with music anyway. But throwing events a lot of work. It's a lot 100%. Of work.
But the thing is, when you throw it, you're in control of everything. And sometimes you could have a good DJ at a bad party and it's not the same.
Yeah.
Right? Or you could have a shitty DJ at a good party and the DJ's still all right then. Like, I feel like it's the DJ's job to curate the event, but it's the event's job to curate the space to make it like a success for the DJ.
Also, like when you're like planning and doing everything yourself, like there's just more pressure. Your brain's going all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you're not fully in it.
Totally. Yeah. Honestly, most of the time the DJ ends up being like the least of your concerns. It's like the tickets and then people wanting guest lists and then people, you know, breaking stuff and
the booths aren't organized properly or
right.
You know, like one thing I used to hate, like you have a crazy DJ party and like the main tables that are the biggest spenders aren't there when the headliner comes on. So it's like, your number 1 and 2 tables that are right beside the DJ booth are fucking empty.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, are we going to sell enough tickets?
Yeah.
Like we announced this 3 weeks in advance. And then it's like the day before the event and you've only sold 20 to 30% of the capacity, which is that's just a Toronto thing. Like no one buys tickets till the day of the event. And they're happy to pay like, yeah, I'll pay 3rd tier prices just so I have the option to like
not go or something better
to
comes
be
up.
Non-committal. Because everyone hates committing in Toronto.
But it's no, but it didn't used to be like that.
Is there something you want to talk about there?
No, I don't have that much of an issue committing to anything. I'll buy tickets 6 months out.
Yeah, Danielle actually is really.
Let me send you some ticket links.
Send them to me. If there's something I really want to go to, I will buy the tickets.
Yeah.
And if the reason I didn't buy the tickets is because I'm not 100% sold on going.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go to Kygo. I bought those a year ago. I want to go to Kygo again, so I have my new Kygo tickets.
Yep.
Like I waited in the queue. I was gonna buy Dua Lipa tickets, did not because I've already seen her and I don't need to. But if it happens, I'll go.
No,
Does that make sense?
No, what he says right. Especially now, I feel like a lot of people don't buy tickets in advance just because. One, it's super easy to get tickets now. You might pay a premium last minute, but you know you can still get them. And then even if it's sold out, there's still secondary markets or just post on Instagram who's got Kygo tickets or whatever. Yeah. You can still get them. But even years ago, like especially before COVID, I feel like people bought tickets early. They knew what they were doing a week in advance or 2 weeks in advance. Now it's just, well, what if something better comes up, right?
Yep. Yeah, what if?
What if?
I mean, and that's not a problem that Toronto experiences exclusively relative to like concert tickets.
No. It's like everything.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. Have you played anywhere other than Toronto?
Yeah, I played in New York actually. What was that? Mid-October. Had a couple shows there. And then US, couple things here and there. We actually did one. It was probably like 7 years ago, but we did this random kind of thing. But like, there's this giant Burning Man art car that's actually like a huge wooden yacht that someone put on like a semi truck kind of thing. And so the guy who owns it has this construction yard up in Tahoe. And we happen to be in Tahoe for like 4th of July. And then he has these crazy random parties there every once in a while. So you have to get like bussed up into this construction lot and like this whole team's there. And then they have these crazy like 200 people parties in this construction yard on a Burning Man art car that is a huge ship. So that was fun.
I want to hear more about that. But my original question was, how do you find the crowds different from Toronto?
How do I find the crowds different?
Yeah,
I thought you said, have I played anywhere else?
No, that was the question. The follow-up was, how do you find the crowds different, or do you find the crowds different in Toronto and the States and other cities? Like, how does Toronto rank amongst other places?
I would say they're pretty similar. I mean, a lot of these club venues, people kind of know what they're getting into. Yeah, There's like a greater sort of umbrella community with a lot of the dance music. So it's not too different. I mean, I think North America and like, I haven't played in, Europe or anything like that, but we've all been to
Ibiza. We're manifesting.
Yeah. We're manifesting for sure. So I think there's definitely differences once you get into the sort of that territory, but hope to find out.
Okay, now question to both of you. What's the craziest party or the best party you've ever been to, and why?
Ooh.
Like that one that you just mentioned sounds fucking cool to me.
That one was definitely a good time. I'm trying to think.
Or even unique. What's something that stands out? Do you know you got good Western ones or something? No?
No. I'm at a complete blank.
So like, okay, for mine is the one in Ushuaia. The one in Ibiza called, why am I going blank right now? The one I went with George and Maz.
Amnesia.
It was at Amnesia. It was called
Circus.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm spitting over right now to try to remember.
Anyways, it's like basically a carnival party almost. There's like people get dressed up. There's like all these different colors. Mm-hmm. It's not called Circus.
I know, but I was on the right path.
You are on the right path,
okay,
for sure.
That's
why I didn't stop you. I was hoping you were gonna spit something out that reminded me of that. Anyways, it's like a random like crazy. I don't want to say carnival party, but it's like a circus carnival party almost. So you have people like doing trapeze from like the ceilings, like fucking unlimited confetti going off at all times, CO2. It's fucking insane. That was one to me where I was just like, if you're not drinking, if you don't love the music, is this party still fucking sick?
Yeah.
Yes. That's how you know you're at a really good party. If you don't like the music and you're not drinking, are you still having fun? And if the answer is yes, you're at a sick fucking party.
Yeah. I'm trying to think because I'm sure that there's been so many times when I've like, left a party or woken up the next day and be like, that was the craziest party I've ever been to for sure. Like hands down. I'll never. Well,
but we say that.
But I don't remember what they were.
I say that fucking every.
But maybe that's why it was the craziest parties because I don't remember what they were.
I mean, that's fair. I've been to so many après skis where I'm just like, fuck, that was one of the craziest parties ever.
Yeah.
I love a good costume party too.
Yeah. Après ski is such a great theme.
Mm-hmm. But when it's done
fun.
properly,
yeah.
When it's done properly, I feel like Toronto the last year or two, kind of everybody jumped on it.
Yep.
So everybody knows the original is at Oasis. Mm-hmm. Oasis Rooftop, which is now the Porch. Sorry, not Oasis. The Porch is the original. Yep. That rooftop, they've been doing it for years. It's usually Saturday. Then they started doing 2 days because they were selling out. Now they brought it back to 1 day because everybody and their mother is doing an après ski party. The Porch is the original because it's outdoors and you dress up and it's fucking cold and you drink Fireball and you're taking shots because it's freezing. Yeah. And you have the best time. Now everybody's doing it, but the problem is a lot of these clubs that are doing it now, people are too cool to dress up because, I buy bottle service. I'm too cool to get dressed up. That you only have half the people dressing up. When only half the people commit to a theme party, it ruins it. It's like it's gotta be everybody.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's like some of these like crazy like white parties. Like what's Michael Rubin's white party? Like you have to wear white or else you're not allowed in or something.
Yeah, it's such just like that's a lame theme.
White party?
I think so. I don't know. It's like
I love a white party.
It feels nice. Yeah,
I agree finally. That like it's not like anything spectacular, but I think it works given the crowd going to that party. You have the top A-list celebrities in all of North America going to this party, and like, what you're gonna ask them to all wear crowns and like I don't know, like you know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
This is a simple thing that everyone can do, and you can still look good. And
like Kanye's not showing up in après ski. Like
exactly.
Well, actually, he might.
You never know.
He might.
You never know. Do you know what's another good theme one? I guess. Well, it changes every year, but like Met Gala, that's always a good theme party. Award show, fashion show, whatever Met Gala is. Anyways, gala party. A gala's a party.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the original question. What's the coolest party you guys have ever been to?
Coolest party I've ever been to.
Most unique, most fun.
Man, that's tough. I was honestly, I was gonna say one of the most fun was actually an après ski party, but it wasn't the Porch party.
Which one was it?
The ones at Harriet's Rooftop, Staying Alive Disco. Yeah, a buddy of mine, Shay, throws those parties, and I actually DJed him a couple times. But unlike some of the après parties, they got a lot of people to engage, and like everyone dressed up. They did a cool job of having like. They had like
Harriet's is gorgeous too.
Yeah. And in the winter they go full like they lean into the après ski vibe with like all the old skis and like the furs and rugs.
It's also like open concept, like glass windows and everything.
Yeah, so it's really cool in the winter to be like in a warm enclosed glass space. Yeah. And then they did a good job with it of like having people in like shiny disco ball suits come out on stilts and like there's bubbles blowing and all kinds of like small little activations. And then it was like a disco party, but it wasn't, pretentious bottle service level. So everyone kind of leaned into that. And those were actually really fun just because it was this really nice balance of the après theme, but also of like, a classed up vibe without being stuffy.
You know, it's also a really good one that I think none of us have mentioned, but Nicolina would know, is a disco brunch. It's another good one.
Yeah. Laissez-faire disco brunch is up there.
Disco brunch. That one's fucking slaps.
Yep.
Danny, what about you? You've been quiet here. You haven't.
I really can't think right now. I just feel like I'm gonna blank. Like, what's a cool party I've been to?
Yeah.
Yeah, anything in Greece is fun.
Any like cool New York basement parties or something? Like
no, because when I go to New York, I feel like I'm usually with family. Like the only like every single time I feel like I end up going to Marquee for something.
Yeah, Marquee is cool.
Yeah, I've had great times there, but I feel like that's where I just always end up because there's like some DJ there that I want to go see. Other than that, like I don't really go out much in New York, and if I do, it's like a little bar or lounge or
a little dinner bar.
I was gonna say I've had some great nights out in LA, but I wouldn't say they were like my top party. I just had great nights.
It's a good way to put it too. No,
like I think there's a difference. There's
definitely a difference.
Ultra Croatia, that was one of the best festivals I've been to, but I would still consider that a party. And like the beach party, I think that was also a unique experience in Hvar. But yeah.
Oh, you reminded me of two things. One of them was New Year's in Santa Teresa in Costa Rica. That was a good one. That was like all the different like clubs and kind of beach things clubs along the beach. They all had these cool New Year's parties and like giant bonfires, and you could just walk along the beach and go from like club to club to club. And you know, you're not supposed to walk along the beach at night there or whatever, but it was
why?
I don't know. They say like it's dangerous or whatever. I don't know. It was fine there. We didn't have any issues. We totally did it. We live on the edge, so.
This is completely off topic. Do you see yourself living in Toronto forever?
I think long term. You mentioned
so many different cities now.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I don't know.
I think it's I optimally like some kind of snowbird hybrid thing. Yeah. Like summers here are super fun. But it's hard to kind of envision what it's going to be like, you know, 5 years from now when all of our friends have moved away or have kids or like move out to the burbs or whatever. I mean, not necessarily everyone will do that, but the landscape will change in terms of what my life looks like here. So it's hard to say. I'm definitely not like attached to a location in terms of like where I need to be long term. It's kind of like as long as it's good here, that's great. And as long as I have, you know, awesome relationships and stuff here, those are kind of more important than like the growing roots side of things.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So let's say like you kind of put more of a focus even more on music and that side. Would you move back somewhere in the States where like there may be a bit more opportunity?
Maybe if it was like, if someone was like asking me to, for sure. But oddly, like so far there has been more opportunity here. And I know everyone's like, okay, once you get big, then you move to like LA or you move to Miami. I'd probably pick Miami of those two for sure. But, it would kind of just depend on like, okay, do I actually need, you know, if I'm out there for meetings all the time or something like that, then it might make sense. But I mean, I lived in Santa Monica for almost 4 years after university. And I was like, okay, it's nice here, but I don't know. It didn't feel like a long-term fit either.
Makes sense.
I had one of my favorite parties at Bungalow in Santa Monica.
Bungalow is so fun.
So much
That's
fun.
a good spot.
I had one of the best days in LA.
Yeah.
There. So much fun.
Funny enough, so did I actually.
Yeah.
I met one of the loves of my life at Bungalow. I didn't meet her there, but we met up there once. This is 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I want to talk about the brand.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice hat.
It is a fucking great hat. And when guests bring us merch.
And you literally took that one off his head.
Well, he said you could have this one if you want. And I looked at it.
I brought you guys options.
I love it. This one's great. I'm going to rock this. And this is like a nice fitting hat too. So you guys, I guess you started this with a buddy of yours.
Yep. Yeah, I started with a buddy. Kind of came up with the concept like, I don't know. It was that same buddy who I was mentioning earlier who we were kind of like, oh, we want to use our day jobs to fund passion projects and hopefully turn those into something more long term. And then we were both kind of on this like Bali trip together. Noose is actually an Indonesian word that means island, but it also means like homeland. So we were kind of like, oh, that's cool that it can mean like, oh, you're separated, but you're also home, you know, going to sort of the transient, like not being rooted to a place and kind of feeling like you're good vibe. So we started that. We came up with the idea, and then we were, mulling it over for a while. We initially tried to get everything manufactured there, but it was kind of hard to lock in manufacturers and get the design because we had no idea what we were doing. Like, starting a clothing company is not easy. Especially if you're not just like buying blanks and like embroidering something on them, which we kind of didn't realize we could do, or maybe I forget if we didn't know we could do that, or we were like, oh, we want to do it better or do it different or something like that. So we kind of designed everything and like started from samples we liked, but then found, manufacturers who could, recreate them and make some tweaks and that sort of thing. But none of the Bali manufacturers ended up working out. So when I moved here, I found a manufacturer in Canada and sort of finalized all the designs and everything like that. But then it just, it wasn't the right manufacturing partner to start a clothing company with. So from the time we like finalized the purchase order to the time we got everything, it was a year.
Holy fuck. Wow.
For like 600 units, which is a lot, but it's not that much.
No.
There was just all kinds of hiccups and stuff along the way. So that was just like a big sort of burnout on the whole thing. And it's like,
well, especially when it's supposed to be something fun.
Yeah, totally. It's like we lost so much momentum at that point, but kind of got it back. I mean, we, at that time still did some fine tuning on the website, everything like that. Which the website is noosacollective.com.
Great program.
And so that was kind of part of it. So there's the clothing side of it. It's also kind of originated as a travel brand. And then there's also a music, like record label component to it.
Okay, because that's where I was going to get at.
Yeah. So the idea was kind of like, okay, we go, you go to like travel places, and certain places will have a particular kind of music, and they'll have like a particular way that everyone dresses. Again, using like Bali as the principal example, right? Tulum. Everyone's listening to like groovy disco stuff and wearing kind of, beachy
hippie vibes.
Hippie beachy vibes. We scaled it back from the hippie a little bit, but we wanted it to be like utilitarian, functional, but also kind of like clean and stuff that you could wear anywhere with a little bit of that. So we kind of were just like, let's make stuff that we want to wear every day. So we did that. And so it's kind of like, go to this place, listen to this music, wear these clothes, like here's how you, and then we also incorporated some like travel guides into it from our experiences, because there's plenty of like travel blog only things out there, but we kind of wrote some of our own. We've probably done like 4 or 5 of them, but that was sort of the like global idea.
Well, it's cool that you're connecting all your passions.
Yeah.
Like music's obviously a big passion. Travel's obviously a big passion. The clothing was something that you did as a passion project with a buddy.
Yep.
So when you can connect them all and they all align, like think about it, when you're planning a trip, like we'll start with the basics. You're planning, okay, I'm going to New York. Where am I going to eat? Where am I going out for dinner and drinks and dancing? Cool. Once I got those, where's my Pinterest board? What am I wearing?
Yep.
What am I packing? So they all kind of go, the only thing you're missing is food.
Yep.
But maybe you got food recommendations somewhere or something?
I mean, they're in the travel blogs. Like, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're all connected based around your passions.
Yeah.
Which is what you want.
And I also like cooking. So at one point I like had this idea to do that and just like start posting, stuff of me cooking. But I was like, I'm not gonna be able to align like me cooking at my home to like Balinese, warung food or something.
A little bit of a stretch.
Yeah. So I kind of, put that one on the back burner.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But it is cool. I've never been to Bali. My brother's been. I heard at some points it's really nice, but then I heard some points it's like the pictures make it look better than it is.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
I mean, we're actually going. It's going to be my 3rd time back there in February. Yeah, you should come.
I mean, February, my travel plans are still tentatively open, so potentially.
All right.
I was thinking something a little bit more local, maybe somewhere in the States, around the family day long weekend. But with me, you never know. Honestly,
yeah.
I've done a lot of really random, stupid shit in my life, so traveling to Bali randomly wouldn't be out of the question. I could do a nice little 10-day trip out there. How long are you going for?
The whole trip's hopefully going to be about a month.
Fuck yeah.
We had a buddy who's from the Philippines, so we're going to kind of stop by there on the way out to Bali and then, hang out with his family and that kind of thing.
Didn't somebody say there was a club that's a floating house?
That's in Thailand.
It's in Thailand?
In Yona Beach Club. Which is so funny enough that my friend that I met at Ultra moved from France there, and he's like one of their DJs.
Really?
Yeah, at XC.
And that wasn't the craziest party you've ever been to?
Never been there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we asked someone. Like,
We should go. Let's all go. That
DJ
sounds like the
Snake's,
craziest party.
Yannick told us about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love doing random cool shit like that. And I feel like you're aligned. Like you're.
Yeah.
That's right. I would love to go there. That's a party I want to go to. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay, I'll show you after the podcast. It's cool.
Yeah, I fuck with shit like that. Stuff that you can't do here. You know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff you do in New York, you can do here. Just New York's better. Or like even Miami and LA, we could do that kind of party stuff in the summer. But a random like beach.
Well, I think that's something about Europe that I like so much about like the party scene is because it's just like beach day, fun, different.
Like Cabana is the only thing that we have that is very like that can kind of resemble like a Miami or a European party, but it's just not. It's the only thing that you could kind of compare to like a European day party. Yeah. But it's just not.
Yeah. The only other one that I've thought of is like, have you ever been to the parties at the Sunnyside Pavilion?
I have actually. Corona Sunsets. I went to
those ones are kind of European too.
Yeah, I can see that.
But they're not regular enough.
Yeah, it's not consistent. And they're not like they're random. So it's like it's not well done. It's not properly done. Where it's like again to have a party on the water in a city like Toronto should be really easy to do. Yeah, and we should have a lot of them, and it should be a very constant thing.
A good fun party. But I don't know if it's a good party. Was the F1 paddock one that we went to? Not paddock.
Peel Street or something.
Peel Street. That was on the street. That was a fun day.
That was a cool one.
It was
I'm
just a fun
party. I'm glad that it took you this long to get there, but yes, Danielle. Danielle's like, fuck it, yeah. No, but for a city like Toronto, we should be having more cool parties like that. Yeah. You know, like it should be a more common thing when it's just not.
Yeah. Yeah. They're either like, I feel like the funnest parties end up being kind of private or smaller, like little intimate setting parties, and like warehouses or like, you know, venue takeovers or those kind of things.
Yeah, it's just good party, the good company one you do.
Yeah, exactly. But between that and like Rebel or something, there's not much. It's like you're either doing a small party or like going to a bar with an awesome DJ, such as like LF Disco Brunch, or like or you're going to a giant club.
LF Disco Brunch slaps, by the way. We're on the same page there. What's one thing that you kind of want to do? Like, what's next for you? I usually ask that when we're wrapping up and we're not, but I'm so curious. Yeah. Because like when I talk about like again, I enjoy trying to figure people out on this, and we don't know each other well, so this is like we've only met a handful of times, which is nice. But I feel like you're very similar to me, where you're kind of always working on something next. So this isn't a wrap up question, but I'm generally just curious. Like, what are you working on, or what's next?
Yeah. I mean, the focus is definitely like music forward. I've been trying to slow down the regular gigs and stuff lately and do a bit less of just like, you know, like random bar gig, club gig kind of stuff, and do more like, okay, who am I opening for? More of those, or like parties where there's going to be something really cool out of it. Just trying to kind of see if I can work my way like to the next level. Alongside with that is releasing more music. So actually kind of the first time I'm announcing this one, but I have a remix coming out for this band called Paco Versailles. Okay. One of the lead singer of that band is also the lead singer of the band Capital Cities. Okay. That song Safe and Sound, you guys might have heard it. And then I actually know him through one of my best friends from university. We ended up being on like this bachelor party together in Mexico. Anyway, we DJ'd my friend's wedding together. And then he was like, I played a song and he's like, this is really good. Do you want to remix like the title track off the new album? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I kind of put that together. They actually really liked it. And then they were like, oh, we want to add some more little guitar bits. So they actually started kind of like sending me a couple bits and we worked on it together a little bit. And it's going to line up really well because I'm opening for them 2 shows, like the first 2 shows of their tour, starting in January.
Oh, unreal. Where?
So yeah. First one's at Velvet Underground. Unreal. And then the second one is at Petite Campus in Montreal. Okay. And then they go on to like do New York and Europe and all kinds of stuff.
Unreal.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Where do you like better about music? Do you like producing or DJing? Were you going to ask that, Danielle? Sorry.
I would say, I don't know. It's tough because there's good and bad days of both. Like DJing, sometimes, you're in a place where the crowd's not quite in the same place that you are, or it's a challenging crowd, or you have a tough time slot or something like that.
Dead.
Yeah, sometimes it's just dead. It happens. Like it happens all the time. But not that often for me. But then the same thing happens with production, right? Especially if you're like coming up towards, I need to finish this thing so I can plug it into, the music system stuff to get it in ready for this release. And you're coming up on sort of your deadline for that. If it's, just a random, like, I don't know, Sunday night or something, you're like, I really got to get this done by Monday, but you're not in a creative sort of headspace at all, then it's really hard to do good work, right?
Well, especially Monday, you're waking up for your day job.
Yeah.
How do you switch back and forth? Like at your day job, it's a fairly normal, consistent, standard job, right? You're in construction tech, which great industry, very structured and formatted properly. Whereas the music is, some days you might be DJing at fucking 1 a.m. Some days you're producing. Some days you're all over the place. How do you switch back and forth?
Yeah,
is it easy or?
I don't know. It's definitely a little challenging. It's more kind of just like it's easy to kind of burn out in that whole thing because the hours don't really line up either sometimes. So that was also part of like the reason for scaling back a little bit on the gigs. Just like, hey, I'm not going to do Thursdays as often or something like that.
Just getting a little pickier as you go.
Trying to get a little pickier. So that's been a little bit challenging. I like with the day job, I usually start my days a little bit later and work a little bit later. So like instead of starting at 9, you can start at 9:30 or 10 and work till 6 instead.
It's also
right?
good that we're on the East Coast, so you get the West Coast time.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like my company is all of,
Great company.
all of North America. I mean, global, but like a lot of customers are East Coast, some are West Coast. So it ends up actually, I don't get too many West Coast customers, so I don't have to deal with it too much later.
I attend a lot of your virtual seminars and stuff.
Yeah.
Procore does they'll be like, 5 industry trends in North America.
Yep.
Watch this hour-long seminar that we're going to do. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Actually, I'm not even kidding, I do.
Yeah.
How do you avoid burnout?
I don't know. If you have any suggestions, tell me because we're getting there.
Well, that's right. But even like early on when I asked, like, what do you do for fun? You're like, walk your dog. And like, a lot of things that you also do for fun, like going for bike rides, hiking stuff, you can't really do anymore now. And like this is the toughest time, especially for at least like people like us that are doing 100 different things and we're driving 100 miles an hour. And the way I always tell people, I love being busy. I love doing 100 things and I love driving fucking as fast as fucking possible. Because if I'm not driving fast, I feel like I'm moving backwards and I'm slowly dying. The problem is when you're going this fast, it's easy to lose control. You hit a speed bump at a normal speed, you're okay. You just go right over it. But when you're going really fucking fast, you hit a speed bump, that becomes a little ramp. And it's easy to lose control. And especially now when it gets dark out, a lot of the things that I personally do to keep me going, keep me sane. Like I love walking. I love walking the streets of Toronto, smiling at strangers, seeing friendly faces, petting random dogs, and just fucking being outside.
And that's why I'm in Canada.
But the problem is now with this weather, like, I gotta show you the jacket I fucking walked in here with. I wasn't smiling at anybody on this walk over. I was fucking bundled up, fucking miserable, and I literally send people voice notes on my walks now because that's like one thing I personally do just to like. Random people, if someone I'm texting, I won't text them back. I'll just pull out a voice note and just voice note them because at least I feel that I'm talking to somebody. So I don't like talking on the phone.
Are you cold? I'm really cold.
It's, like,
it's really cold in here.
I send people video messages too on the street. I don't give a fuck anymore. But it's so tough because again, when you're the little things that you might want to do, okay, you're working your day job and then you got to set at night and you're feeling burnt out. Like you'd probably go for a bike ride before, maybe walk the dog. Well, now it's fucking minus 20 or maybe not minus 20 yet, but it's, minus 5 and it's windy. Now that walking the dog doesn't seem like a hobby, it seems like a chore, right?
Yeah, for sure. I was actually thinking about it a little bit the other day. I think there's a couple things, obviously, like trying to take care of your, physiological state, eat clean, at
You're
least.
in good shape, obviously. You look good.
Yeah. Thank you. You look good too.
I appreciate it.
Trying to eat healthy definitely helps a little bit. And then I think similar to you, I'm sure with like, all the different projects you have going on, when the things that you're kind of potentially burning out on are also passions, you still can kind of be like, oh, I care about this because it's important to me, not because I have to do it. It's so as long as you still want to do it, I think that sort of helps with the burnout. The other thing that I come up on a lot is kind of like, it actually came from this book called Essentialism. It's a really interesting book, but it kind of talks about the whole thesis is like, what are the most important things I need to be doing? And you can, in places where you're so busy and you're doing 100 things at the same time, usually you can kind of figure out, well, what is the most important one thing that I should do right now? Like, should I jump on this client call, or should I, I don't know, make a cool new song? And it's like, I should definitely jump on this client call. But those decisions get a little bit harder when you're comparing multiple businesses and that sort of thing. But I think half of the burnout thing comes with the stress of having all these other things you have to do, right? And so if you've kind of continually made that decision of, well, I just did the most important thing that I need to do right now, then you're kind of in a little bit freer space to not look back on that and be like, oh, I should have done that. You're like, no, I already made that decision. I made the best decision I could at the time.
No, you said it. Making the best decision at that time.
Yeah.
And not looking back to, because it's easy to say, fuck, I shouldn't have drank yesterday. I should have, worked out, or I should have done this, or I should have done that. But at the time, did you make the best decision that you thought you could?
Yeah. At the time, drinking 12 tequila sodas was the best decision I could make.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
Everything's about balance. Here.
Yeah.
And with actually, Jess made a piece of content for me. It was like a little mini montage of me at the gym. She's like, this is not healthy without this. And the second half of the video is just partying, going out, doing random shit, because everything's about balance. And I strongly believe that.
Yeah, I do too.
But one of my things that I've been doing this ever since I was young. For me, I have to go to the gym every single day. Not every day, but every day that's planned, I have to go. So Monday to Fridays, I know for sure I go. No matter what, I have to go. Yeah. And I'm very thankful that at my job I can leave work for 45 minutes, sneak away to the gym that's 2 minutes away, and get a quick workout, because that calms my mind down. Those days where you're scatterbrained, and I'm sure you have this too, where you're thinking about 20 different tasks, and I write down my notes every day, what I got to do today, what I got to do. And some days you look at it and you're just like, what the fuck? How am I going to get this stuff done? I'll literally stop my day and just go to the gym and just, even if I have a shitty workout, check. I did the one thing I know I'm good at every single day. Whether it's a good workout or shitty workout, at least I got that done. That's okay. Let's tackle the next. Now that my mind is a little bit more relaxed, I'm a little bit chill. Even if it was a fucking terrible workout, which 95% of my workouts lately have been, at least I got that done. Yeah. Because especially now with this weather, and I'm one of the happiest people you'll ever meet, this gets me. Last year was the first year it really got me. This year, again, it's just starting, and I just went away to Miami, and I'm back here, and I'm just thinking, what the fuck am I doing in the city? And it's hitting me, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing my things. I'm going outside, going for runs when it's light out, and still hanging out with friends. My schedule's packed with a lot of non-work, non-business related things, like podcasts fun. Tomorrow, I'm going to meet my buddy's baby for the first time. Wednesday, I've got an event. Thursday, I've got another event. Friday, I've got 4 events, and they're all fun things where I get to be around people, socialize, charge my social battery, and just make sure I'm ready to take on everything else, so that when it is time to work, I'm ready to work. Yeah.
Those are all great ways to do it.
Yeah, it's just, so some days it's Danielle's sitting there fuck, that sounds stressful just thinking about that.
That doesn't sound stressful to me, because that's actually one thing, I don't have the luxury to run off to the gym in the middle of the day, but one thing that we've made very important at our office, and we've kind of held each other accountable for, was going on walks. So when someone gets today, I had a really bad day with certain clients, and I looked over and I could just see myself burning out. And one of my coworkers is like, let's go on a walk. And we made 2 paths. We have our long walk, we have our short walk. And we'll walk around literally our office building in circles until we're ready to go back to work. And it's actually helped so much. It's the little things.
Especially just the sun too now.
And it's hard when it's cold out. When it was hot outside, every hour on the hour, we're like, Kate, walk time, let's go. Yeah. Now it's getting colder outside, you don't want to, but you kind of need that time to kind of recalibrate and clear your brain for a second.
It's funny, as you both were kind of talking about those things, I was thinking, I walk so much every day too, and that's actually been a huge thing, because I have a border collie, and so I average between 10 and 20,000 steps a day just walking the dog, and it's been that way for 4 years. And I'm like, oh wow, the having to wake up in the morning, like I have to get up, I got to take even if it's just taking the dog outside. When lunchtime rolls around, it's like, okay, we got to get out there, we got to go for a walk. So I'm out with the dog like an hour and a half a day, maybe 2 hours, and it's like those checkpoints always come in at you, like you have to do it, you have to stop, you have to take the dog, you have to be present. And honestly, I think it's kind of been one of the best things to slow me down a little bit, and to be like, it's forcing yourself to take breaks, right?
It's so funny you said that, because I took my dog, like my family dog, in for like 6 weeks once when my family was traveling, and living in with the dog in the condo, it really forced me to get up at like 6 a.m. and actually take the dog on a walk before work.
Yeah.
And then like throughout the whole day, because you could wake up and be like, fuck, I don't want to go outside, like what's the point? But you absolutely have to. There's nowhere else but the dog can go.
Yeah, it's challenging. Granted, my dog will sleep till like 1 if you let her. Like she's totally happy to get up at 6 a.m., but she'll just like lay in bed until 1. So she's good either way. So I don't have to get up and take her out in the morning.
Yeah,
but
still.
This is, again, another random question on music. Where do you find most of your inspiration?
I was literally going to ask you that.
Beat you to it, sucker. Because usually like a lot of, and I mean this nicely, usually a lot of people get their inspiration from like shitty things that are happening in their lives, breakups or fucking losing their jobs. But like, I mean this nicely, like I feel like you got your shit together.
Yeah. A lot of it, I think, honestly, I feel like I make better music when happy things are happening.
Really?
Yeah. Even if it's...
You're the first person to say that.
Second.
Who?
Peter Takis.
Are you sure?
100%. Go back to the episode.
Okay. Out of the 50 artists we've had on this, maybe more, every single one of them says like their worst music comes from when they're their happiest.
Yeah. I don't
You're
know.
just
Maybe
like,
it's
no?
a little bit different because like a lot of what I'm doing is kind of more on the computer, right? And it's like the last thing I want to do if I'm in a bad mood is like, program little drum beats in and like
fuck this little drum beat.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm like everything sounds like
it.
shit. Everything is shit. Like I don't want to do it. Whereas if I'm like fired up, then I'll make, even if it's like a shitty beat, I'll be like, this is the shit.
Yeah. And then you come back to it a day later,
Yeah.
like, oh fuck.
That's a funny thing too. I've like talked to so many musicians and like producers that say that, and then they're like, you either, make a song and you love it, and then you work on it for a while and you're like, I don't know. And then you listen to it the next day and then you're like, this sucks. Like, everyone, without fail, that's always how it happens. You make a song, you love it, the next day it sucks, you sit around for a month, and then a month later you're like, this is a sick song. Like it's
we always
nuts.
joke about all the songs in the vault.
Yeah,
every musician has a vault. It's just like tens or hundreds of songs that'll just never see the light of day.
Yeah.
We're like, I bet you if we took every artist we've had on this podcast, taken all their songs from the vault and released them all, I bet you there's like a fucking certified mega platinum, double, triple, quintuple platinum banger in there.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you could almost just go for like sheer volume. Like
one of them's got to hit.
Yeah,
You should have like the Pals record label. Just take all the songs from the vault, and that's it. One of them is going to be a banger.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
We all just put them together. Like everyone throw their songs in.
Yeah, everyone just
just release them en masse.
Everyone give me 3 from your vault. We've had at least 50 artists on this podcast, at least, give or take.
More.
So we got about 150 songs, and across all different genres.
Yep.
There's got to be a couple bangers in there. Like I see it right now, guys. The fucking wheels are turning here. The wheels are turning.
Yeah.
Next project.
Let's do it.
Don't tempt me.
Pals Records.
Pals Records. Done. I've already got merch.
Yeah.
Done.
Honestly, if you want to buy / a record label and clothing company and
and travel company, make it a travel company.
Yeah, exactly. No.
There.
Yeah, that would be a killer idea. The vault is real though.
Oh, I can imagine.
I got probably 50 songs of mine, and it's like I am slowly trying to get better at finishing more quickly. So I've been kind of templatizing the way I'm finishing them. But
why don't
that
you
was a
just
challenge for
release
so
them?
long.
Why don't you just release them?
I think one of the things that happened
because you're not signed with a big label. No, you have your label
like I've signed a couple of individual songs with labels, and then like the Noosa collective clothing thing. There is also a record label component of it. But it's sort of a platform for self-releasing. Like it's pretty easy to start a record label these days. And
sorry, how easy is it to start the Pals record label?
It's really easy. I know, but like anyone can kind of do it. I think it does help to have a little bit of experience having released other things.
Well, that's why a lot of like labels like yours would sign with one of the majors as a sub label.
Something like that. Yeah. But like if you're an independent artist, anyone can self-release music and put it on Spotify now. So it's like, you know, maybe if we have a little bit greater brand strategy and we're kind of pulling multiple people together, sure. But like anyone, you could record 30 seconds of silence and get it on Spotify right now if you wanted to.
That's the Pal's first song, 30 Seconds of Silence.
Yeah. There was actually this band, Wolfpack. I don't know if you've heard of them, but like they kind of did this protest probably like 5 or 6 years ago where they made this whole album, and it was all like every song was like 30 seconds, which is the minimum that Spotify needs to register it as a play. And then they put this whole album out, and then they told their whole following of, I don't know, 40 or 50,000 people, like everyone go stream this song on like repeat while you're sleeping so we can pay for our next tour. And then like everyone did it. They made a ton of money off of it, but then like Spotify ended up shutting the whole thing down.
It's actually fucking hilarious.
Like, deplatforming it.
Yeah. Playing the game.
Yeah.
The Pals are going to do that.
Yep.
We're going to find the loopholes in this. This is a wrap up question, but what are like some goals you have? Cause I feel like you're like me. So I'm going to assume that you're very goal driven. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah.
What are some goals that you had for this year, and did you complete them?
Goals I had for this year were like definitely DJ a lot more, release music, and open up for, you know, larger artists, launch the clothing brand. All those got checked. Yeah.
What's your dream artist to basically like open up for, or even like work with? Yeah.
Right now, Dombresky's up there. He's kind of got this.
He's from Toronto too, no?
No, he's French.
Dombresky. I'm thinking someone else then.
Yeah.
So him?
He would be good. Yeah, he's awesome because he's kind of, you know, he's very kind of similar, like positive energy, you know, some funky stuff, but it's not overly like cheese happy. There's definitely some nods to sort of like classic producers and sounds and samples, and so that's really cool. So he would definitely be pretty high up there for me. We saw him earlier in the summer and it was awesome. Yeah.
Where?
Electric Island, actually.
Okay, that's another good party. That's a good party.
I've never been.
That's a good party in Toronto. You remember Bestival? Were you around for Bestival?
No.
Were you around for Bestival? Just no. Anyways, Bestival was another good one actually. That was well done in the city of Toronto. But it's just, again, these are one-offs, right? Like Electric Island's 4 shows a year?
Yeah, something like that.
Before we do wrap up, what are goals for 2025?
Definitely kind of scale up the current, you know, thing. I want to release 1 song a month. So that's one of my goals. And one of the other things I'm trying to do, just because the DJ space is hyper competitive and it's hard to be differentiated in it. It's like, okay, you can play different songs than someone else. You can have a slightly different style, but we're all playing in the same clubs, right? And we're all kind of working for the same slots and that sort of thing. So one of the things I want to kind of work on is bringing back my drum playing roots and incorporate a bit of a live set into things.
Very cool.
Oh, like
just so it's a little bit of a hybrid. Like I definitely,
it's like a Disclosure. Don't they do that?
Yeah. Like when Disclosure, that's my inspiration for the whole thing. Like the Settle tour, when it was the two of them. I don't know if you guys saw them when they were playing like Latch and stuff at Coachella, that kind of thing. Yeah. But it was like the one guy's jamming on the drums, the other guy's playing the bass, and it was like it was so engaging.
Different. Well, it's like when Deadmau5 started doing the whatever the keypad thing is.
Yeah.
Or Fred Again's another great example.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So incorporate a bit of that into it. It changes the game. It's definitely more work to set up, and you lose a bit of flexibility in what you're doing. But I think hopefully the added sort of differentiation that brings will really be worth it. And it'll also help me kind of align in terms of not just being like, oh, I'll play this style here and this style here to sort of fit that. Then it's more of a, you know, me.
You're bringing your own personal
Exactly.
show. Yeah. No matter where you are, it's your show.
Yeah.
That's cool. Ben, before, if people want to find out more about you, what you're doing, the clothing brand, music, tours, everything, where can they go? How can they find you?
On socials at Not Ben Flood, and then also
such a good name. Not Ben Flood.
And then socials Noosa _collective, Noosa _records, And then my phone number is no.
We had one person.
someone.
We had someone give up their phone number. Like, if someone wanted to get a hold of you,
Yeah.
where can they go? How can they, like, honestly, you send me a text or call me. We're like, all right, interesting.
Wow.
But yeah, Ben,
Bold
man,
move,
appreciate you
Cotton.
coming on. This is you know what? You just know someone's gonna be a good guest when they walk in with like merch and like gifts. And we have Nicolina off camera right now. She brought in cups because the last episode we had when she was on, if you go back and watch that, we drank wine straight out of the bottle because we didn't have any cups here. So again, great guest. But Ben, appreciate you coming on, man. This is
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for
And
having me.
let's
This is
just
great.
point out now too, if you're listening to the end of this, the couch broke. And that's why all three of us are on this.
I kind of fuck with this though.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of like this.
It's not bad.
There's a couple weird parts where I was sitting like this and
Yeah.
Danielle's head was in my way, and I was just like, yeah, but that's why I don't mind.
Yeah, I'm
leaning.
gonna need to like sit facing this way for the rest of the night.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Untwist my spine.
I was watching. I'll tell the story off air, but yeah, I was watching a movie the other day, and like I was just like this. I got up and I'm like, oh my head can't move. Like, oh, terrible. Danielle, you want to wrap up?
No.
I did most of the talking today, so
No, go ahead.
if you made it to the end of this, we appreciate you guys. Give myself a follow. Give Danielle a follow. Give not Ben Flood a follow. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Cheers, pals.